Hello everybody, and welcome to Forza Horizon 3. I am here with the Ferarri F40 today, and we are going to take it down our Rainforest Sprint circuit. Now, I think this car stands a fairly good chance at going extremely quickly. It could put up a fight against our leader, the Mercedes GTR. I don't think I'm going to do anything with drivetrain or engine. This car will probably get to top S1 class easy. I believe it has the V10 in it, if I'm not mistaken, which is why you only get the V8 and the V12 as options to upgrade. We're going to be keeping the drivetrain standard. We will put the Forza arrow on the front. We can't actually put it on the rear, which is fine. This car is probably going to have more than enough grip. Again, these tires are making this kind of a pain to upgrade because it's going to put us near the top. I'm just wondering if I'm actually going to need them or not. What are our tire widths like? 245s. I'd like to upgrade those. Just give us that little bit more grip. We don't actually need to really upgrade the rear to full, I don't think. 355s will probably do us plenty well on the rear. Tire compound. I kind of want to upgrade it. I'm going to upgrade it to street for now. I just want to see what else we can do with this car. I actually want to look at the power to weight ratio. So its power to weight ratio isn't bad. 3,000 pounds, just under 500 horsepower. I would like to get a little bit more power in it, maybe a little bit of weight out. That's why I'm not going for the full race compounded tires. I'd also like to put on the handling parts. Now, this car is notorious for being an extremely quick and nice handling car, so I'm not really worried about it like being awful through the corners or anything. I just want to put as much handling on it as I can, just to make sure that we get the handling that we need. Now we will go and put some power in. 141 horsepower from the turbos is pretty good going. It puts us up over 600 horsepower. I'm just trying to see what else we can get for power. Luckily the power doesn't seem to be jumping the PI up too much. What are we at for power now? Almost 700 horsepower. I doubt it, but I'm just going to have a sneaky look to see what this would jump us up to. Okay, yeah. I was seeing how much PI the Sport would add. I wonder if I could... I doubt I could save that much PI. That's like 20 PI. I think we will run it on those tires. We aren't going to upgrade the tire widths any more than what I've already done. Now it's just we gotta basically... No, I've already put that on. I went over one too far. I'm just gonna put as much power parts on as I can. Did I do pistons? No, I didn't. Luckily, like I said, the power parts aren't really adding too much PI, so it looks like we're going to be able to get quite a few of them in the car, no problem. Actually, we might get all of them in. Actually, yeah, we've gotten all the power parts except for like oil and cooling, which I generally don't go for. We will get a flywheel stage on it as well, and then I'm just going to go check out the drive line. No, we won't get that. What about the gearbox? We could get a gearbox. It doesn't actually say it changes anything. It says it's better, but it drops the PI, whereas this one says it has better shift time. So what does this actually change? 230. It doesn't really look like it changes that much, and it saves us a little bit of PI, so I might as well go for it and take advantage of having that extra PI. I'm not actually sure if we're going to be able to use that PI though, that's the thing. We might get oil and cooling or something on that. Adds 6 horsepower. That adds 10. What if we put both of them on? That still won't get us to the top. This is going to be really awkward, and I'm not going to be able to have that, am I? Unless... Okay, so roll cage also takes off PI. Okay, so I'm going to have to take that gearbox off. I was thinking maybe I can make the most of that extra PI, but I can't. Yeah. Well, I guess I could have that, and if the roll cage does take weight off, I can put, or PI off, I can put the roll cage on. There we go. I'm just kind of fiddling around, seeing what I can get away with and what I can't. Okay, so I can't get away with that. I think that this Ferrari stands an amazing chance at going as quick, if not quicker, than the Merc that went out last time. The Merc had nowhere near this amount of power. It didn't have 772 horsepower. I think the Merc, was it in around the 600 horsepower mark? Something like that. The Merc also, I think the Merc weighed a little bit more. I think it was more towards the 3,000 pound mark. I could be completely wrong with that one. But yeah, the power to weight ratio is going to be immense in this. The question is, are we going to have the grip through the corners? Alright, we are here at the Rainforest Grand Sprint Circuit to take the Ferrari for its 3 runs down the circuit. Now, we get accelerated extremely well down this straight. I mean, kind of expect it to. My only concern is the grip. Are we going to have the grip through these corners where we sacrificed, basically we sacrificed our tire widths for power. So this is kind of going to be a brute force run of try and just carry as much speed down these straights as possible and try not to let the car do that. Oh, that was so close. This is going to be a very, very, I don't even know what words to describe it. It's going to be a very on-edge type of run. I can already tell just from the way this is opening. We could have oversteer problems. We are putting over 700 horsepower, almost 900 horsepower through the rear wheels of this car, which, let's be honest, through almost any car, that is not a good thing to be doing. It is going to make it kind of hard to control. I do notice being kind of almost floaty feeling through some of these corners. Just kind of seems to almost float around through the corners. It's weird to try and describe. Oh, that is not going to end well. Well, this run is basically out the window. Also, remember the target time up there, I do set it to the fastest time, but since the fastest time with the Merc was a flagged time, it's not actually showing up because scumbag Forza. It was a 301.2 from the Merc. Oh, this car is going to be interesting to throw around some of these corners. Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe I should have gone for the extra grip in this car instead of just power. I think we might have actually been able to get away with putting the race tires on it, or even the next one up, the one in between the one we're on and then race. I can never remember if it's sport or if it's street, which way it goes. But I think we could have even benefited from those. Oh, we do not have the grip to do that. But yeah, I think we could have benefited from those because, as we saw, the power parts didn't really add that much PI onto the car. So we probably could have got quite a decent amount of power and still had some decent grip. But we didn't make that choice, so yeah, I have to deal with this thing that wants to slide around and throw me into a wall and kill me. Yeah, fun times. This car is going extremely fast. I mean, I think this is one of the fastest cars. I mean, I did screw up the entry to that, totally. But it's one of the fastest cars we've seen coming down there. That was over 170 miles an hour. We've seen the likes of 160, 100 and, what was it, 160, 165, thereabouts. This is actually going to be on for kind of quick lap. That's, I don't want to say it's impressive, but that beats out the BAC Mono, for one. It does put it relatively low down the table right now, yes. But that was with me going sideways into a wall and sliding around a lot. I definitely think this car, I lost a lot of time with mistakes throughout that lap, sliding around, running wide, this kind of thing. I think that we could possibly, if I can get a clean run out of this car, be looking at a new leader. Alright, we're back to take the Ferrari for its second run. I'm just hoping that the car doesn't try to kill me down this run and spit me out into a wall like it did in the last run. Yeah. A lot of the other cars that we've run, like the Merc, like the NSX and the Corvette, have all been incredible, incredible cars to drive. They were, like I kind of said throughout the videos, that they're the ones that if I was going to choose a car to race, I'd want that basically, because they were so well versed. They had the acceleration, they had the speed, they had the grip around the corners. Those are the cars that I'd want to drive in a race. But if I wanted to have fun, I don't know if I'd choose those. I think I'd choose this over those any day, because you can have so much fun in this car if you really wanted to, sliding it around and so on, as I kind of demonstrate there, going over the crest of that hill. But yeah, this car, it wouldn't be my pick to race with. It just doesn't have the grip. You're constantly fighting for control of the car, which is something I'm not a huge fan of. I'd rather have control of my car and not be sliding it around. I'd rather have a bit of understeer, to be honest, than anything else. Now we have to make sure we actually get this right. I think I was a little bit over to the right-hand side when I came over that hill last time. I was a little bit more cautious this time because I don't want to lose any more time hitting that wall. I want to try and get a nice clean lap out of this car. We've seen if you enter this corner coming up down here at the right speed, you can be flat out. I don't trust this car at all. Even there I had a lift and we were, I think, just on the brink of what we can actually do. I want to get it slowed down into this corner. Take out the tree on the apex where we get a little bit of wheel spin. That corner has been notorious. It's a really slow speed corner. If you get on the power a bit too soon, you can get wheel spin. I did catch it relatively quickly though, so it didn't really affect us too much. I almost got a little bit out of control there. Now this section down here is kind of scary, I'll be completely honest with you. It has the grip though to be flat out and not really compromise you too much. Now let's see how it deals here. We don't really have too much understeer. It is kind of scary entering some of these corners because you are kind of wiggling around a little bit. And that's the story of this car. It has the power and the brute force, I think, to go extremely quickly, but if you had a little bit more grip in this car, this would be probably one of the ultimate cars to run down here, because it just has the acceleration. The only thing this is missing is grip. We're up to 175 miles an hour, and we get it slowed down and controlled, if I can speak, into the chicane there. Now I have looked at other cars coming into that last corner there at about 3 minutes or 2:59 mark. I think we got a little bit of a slide there across the final corner, or around the final corner. Not the time I was really wanting. That is actually in second place right now. We beat out the Ford SVT Cobra. We still have 2 seconds to find somewheres to beat out the Mercedes. Now, I'm not sure where we're going to find that, but I'm going to try my best. Alright, we are back for the final run for the F40. I must say I'm a little bit disappointed on that last run. I didn't really have too many mistakes. I think I did brake a little bit early into some corners. I'm just going to have to try and push the car a little bit more. Not so much that I basically throw away this run, because I don't want to throw away this run, because we need this run in order to have a chance at going quicker than the Mercedes. This is our last run, and I do want this car to go quickly. I mean, it has gone quickly already. It is in second place, but a little bit scruffy on this opening. These corners across these crests is where you get the car feeling really floaty, because you're turning in across these crests and also unloading your suspension a little bit, so it makes the car kind of float around on the crest, which is kind of scary because it can throw you out onto the grass, which is not where you want to be in a car with this much power. Come on, get it turned around there, and don't be a moron with it. I'm finding myself already chucking this car into corners with, I think, a bit too much confidence. We'll god, we hit a wall. That is not going to be good. Now, down this hill section is where I really have to be careful, get it slowed down. I turned in a bit too soon, which got me a little bit sideways, but I think we're okay. Yeah, the opening part of this run hasn't been spectacular, I'm going to say that right now. We did hit the wall, we did kind of run wide in a couple places, so I'm not confident that we're actually going to be on for a better run this time. But I'm still going to try my best to get a better run out of the Ferrari. If any car is going to beat the Merc, I would think this would be one of them. I'm sure there's something's going to beat the Merc at some point. Nothing stays at the top of the table forever. But I feel like this car stands a really strong chance at beating out the Merc. Sorry, I've gone quiet there. I'm just focusing so hard on trying to get this car through these corners without coming out the other side backwards that I'm kind of at a loss for words with what to say. Don't get it sliding, you moron. Again, if we do end up going quicker than our previous run, yeah, it's not going to show it as actually going quicker. It's so hard managing your throttle with this car through some of these corners. Come on, get slowed down. Get on the power. It's going to be quicker. Like I said, it's not going to show up actually as our quickest time for our target times because of course it's flagged. If I wouldn't have hit that wall and been so kind of all over the place, I guess is the best word for it, at the beginning, we may have gotten closer to the Mercedes. We're still about a second down on it, which is unfortunate. I really thought this car would go a lot quicker than the Merc. Well, not a lot, I shouldn't say a lot. I figured that would go quicker than the Merc by a bit. I didn't figure that we'd be a second down on it. But yeah, unfortunately the Ferrari didn't beat out the Merc, but on the other hand, the Ferrari did move itself up into second place, which is quite impressive considering our first lap we were down fourth into like fourth from last. But yeah, the Mercedes was kind of a similar story. When we had its first run, it was relatively low down the table and then it kind of just shot back. I guess it's just kind of me learning the car and its limitations on the course. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. And until next time, goodbye.